Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is directed by James Gunn, and it is starring Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Karen Gillian, Pom Klementieff? I hope I got her name right. I hope I did. Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, Sean Gunn, and Will Poulter. Hope I said these names right. Description real quick, guys. Still reeling from the loss of Gamora, Peter Quill rallies his team to defend the universe and one of their own, a mission that could mean the end of the Guardians is, if not success. That's the stupidest ass fucking description I ever heard. Anyways, guys, so I watched the previous films the last 2 days. So on Monday I watched, or actually on Sunday I watched Guardians 1, and Monday I watched Guardians 2, just to get remember everything that happened. And those films came out a while ago. It was good revisiting them. I haven't seen them in a long ass time. And I was getting prepared for Thursday, for today, basically going to see Guardians 3, which got me even more excited to see this film. So let's break down my minor nitpicks with this film. My first nitpick with the film actually comes from the technical aspect with it. I realized when I was in the theater, I went to Regal to go see this film, empty theater, which I really liked, but I have to say that when I noticed watching it, lots of daylight sequences weren't really popping that much, like with color. Now either that's just a lighting issue from the theater itself, or it was a technical issue done. I'm sure when the film comes out on 4K or streaming, it's going to look a lot more richer, but I do remember seeing this style of daylight sequences in Peacemaker from James Gunn. So I don't know, maybe it's just a stylistic choice or something like that. For me, I didn't like it. I just wish that the colors popped a little bit more. But that's one of my nitpicks with the film. I wish the film was longer. And that is really my main con with this film. This film is 2 hours and 30 minutes, by far the longest Guardians of the Galaxy film yet. But I have to say that this film handles a lot of things. We're going to have the rocket origin. We have the high evolutionary in the film. We see the Guardians, all the characters dealing with a lot of their problems. This film could have had an extra 15 or 20 more minutes to have it breathe. I will say that the film flew by for me, but I feel like a little 15 or 20 more minute would have helped it a lot better. But besides that being said, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is a fucking masterpiece, guys. I literally have no complaints besides those with the film. I'm gonna have a spoiler free section right now, spoilers after, so I'll let you guys know when I'm doing spoilers. But I have to say, guys, this film really played with my emotions. It's funny at times, the humor hits perfectly. James Gunn nailed that. The emotion, James Gunn knows how to handle character and emotion. That's why I'm actually a little bit excited for him handling DC, and I'm optimistic about that future. But I have to say, the emotion in this film, yeah, it hits. I was getting lumps in my throat, and I was tearing up in some sequences, and I was like, wow. But besides that, the action is great. The fucking score is beautiful in this film, and all characters are handled well, really perfectly. I'm gonna say one thing is that I will say it feels like the perfect ending to this trilogy. I will say that. But one of the things that I found really unique about this film is that it doesn't connect really to the wider Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's a couple references here and there, absolutely, with Thanos or with the timeline, with a time heist here and there, Infinity Stones. But besides that, nothing of what's going on in the shithole MCU right now. Thank the fucking Lord. And that's what I think this film thrives the best off of. I will say too, Guardians 3 is definitely my favorite out of the whole trilogy. I really liked it that much, and I'm giving this film its highest rating of a 10 out of 10. I don't remember if I gave Guardians 1 out of 10 out of 10, but this is definitely my favorite Guardians film. All characters are handled beautifully well, and like I said, great fight sequences as well. CGI fest, but it's handled. But guys, before I dive into spoilers, I just want to let you know this is a short, spoiler-free spot right here, and I just want to let you guys know, please go see this film over the weekend. You guys are going to have a great-ass time with this film, and go support the hell out of it. It's a phenomenal film, but I have to give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 a 10 out of 10, and it's a masterpiece. And I'm going to say one thing, and you guys will probably agree with me when you go see this film this weekend, or if you've seen it already. This is definitely the best film post-Endgame, maybe besides No Way Home and Shang-Chi. But this is really good. This is really good. But as a whole film goes, I think this might be the best post-Endgame. But you guys have to let me know in the comment section after you go see it. Alright guys, let's talk about spoilers. So let's get this right off the bat. Nobody fucking dies. And honestly, going into the film, I was getting prepared for someone to die, and there are a lot of close calls. Let's talk about the first act of the film, the first opening sequence when Adam Warlock breaks fucking into their whole little city off in nowhere. I almost thought Drax and Nebula basically fucking died. So that's that thing. And then we see Rocket get brutally injured in the film. And let's talk about that right now. So we're going to talk about some characters. I really like the idea of having Rocket out of the film, out of commission for a little bit. I love I love Rocket as a character. I really do. He's probably he's definitely in my top 3 favorite Guardians. So I will say that having him out of commission for most of the film so we can see his origin story, it was a smart idea. And seeing this origin story, yeah, his origins were as emotional as I expected, but even more. Or his origin story, yeah, was emotional. Fucking, I was tearing up. We see all these animals that the High Evolutionary is creating to basically make into weapons for the new world. And we see that Rocket ends up bonding, after going through this traumatic change, bonding with these 3 other misfits, basically. And it's a very touching scene, or sequence, I would say. And I think there was a walrus, there was a little bunny, there was a hedgehog, I think. And it was really, really emotional, and just how well they bonded together. And then they fucking die, and I almost fucking cried. And then it basically, in a way, Rocket blames himself for it because he tried to get them to escape, and he was escaping himself. Yeah, that made me tear up, and I was like, wow, this is heavy. Then, as we see the team, the overall objective of the film is the team is trying to get this little device to save Rocket's life after he gets brutally injured by Adam Warlock in the film, played by Will Poulter, which I have to say, I think his character is underutilized in this film. I think Will Poulter did a great job as a character. I would love to see more of Adam Warlock in the future, but I just think that when you have a villain like the High Evolutionary and Adam Warlock, like I said, this all goes back to the runtime of the film. I feel like they didn't balance it out the best, but I have to say that both in the film, the villains were awesome. They really were. They were menacing, they were scary, but I think they could have done a lot more with, besides that, Rocket almost literally dies. It's a false call, but he almost dies in the film. And when I saw this, I literally was tearing up. He got me, James Gunn got me, and you know what? Fuck you, James, for fucking with my emotions, alright? But he did a great job of doing it. And we also, there's another really close call in this film, which we'll talk about his character in just a second. But when I thought he almost died, I was like, holy shit, this really hit me. But let's talk about the other close call in the film, Quill, played by Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt owns this character of Star-Lord. He really does. He is phenomenal in this film. I love the idea of Peter still dealing with the loss of Gamora, but also knowing that there's an alternate Gamora, and he tries to get with her, and she's a dick. They use that word in the film, and Peter Quill gets the only fuck word in the in the MCU, which I thought was fucking hilarious in this little car sequence with him and Nebula and Groot, which I thought was hilarious. But he is trying to work with Gamora, this pre-Infinity War Gamora, and she is a bitch. She really is. She doesn't want anything to do with him. It does make logical sense. She doesn't know who he really is, but you can see the hurt on his face about it. But then we see towards the end of the film, he gets a close call. He literally almost dies the same way Yondu dies. And I teared up with that too as well. You get attached to these characters, and you gotta remember, Guardians came out in 2014. It's almost been 10 years since the first Guardians film came out, and you get attached to these characters, and of course I'm gonna get emotional. But that was a close call too. We see Adam Warlock redeems himself and saves Peter Quill, which I thought was pretty cool. So that was a little unique thing. But besides that, yeah, the character of Gamora in this film is handled as a bitch, rightfully so. And I love what James didn't do is he didn't play the are they getting together, are they not getting together throughout the whole film. That's not really played that in this film at all. It's basically settled through the beginning that they're not getting together, and I like that. But then we end up seeing Quill ends up going back to Earth to visit his grandpa or see his grandpa and taking time off of the Guardians. So we'll talk about the ending in just a sec. As for the rest of the team, being Drax, Mantis, Nebula, and Groot. Bautista owns the character as Drax. He does a great fucking job in this film. If not, maybe his best performance out of the whole trilogy, I would say, including the holiday special as well. I really liked that where they went with Drax's character throughout the whole film, and I think that towards the end of the film, it's a smart decision of what they're going to do, and we'll talk about it in just 1 second. Nebula's character handled really well as well. The same thing with Mantis and Groot. Well, played by Vin Diesel. Well, I am Groot. There it is for you. So all these the rest of the additional characters are handled. So let's talk about the ending of the film. So we know that the group ends, or the film ends with the group ending their group, disbanding it on good terms, not like Civil War. And we see Peter, like I said before, end up going back to Earth, meeting up with his grandpa and creating a bond right there. Then which I really thought was beautiful, we see Gamora end up getting back with the Ravengers with Sylvester Stallone's character. And then we basically see Mantis leaving. I have no idea where she's going. We know Nebula is staying on Nowhere, basically going to run everything in the city. And we see that Drax is going to be there with her, but also start a family and have a daughter, which I thought was really touching as well. And then we finally get our new leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's Rocket. And it makes total fucking sense, and I think it's really, really cool. They've been hinting towards it in Infinity War and Guardians 2, so it makes sense that he ends up being the new leader of the squad. And we get a good little brief look of who's going to be in this new Guardians of the Galaxy squad. We still see Groot, we see Adam Warlock now, and a few others. I think we saw Sean Gunn's character and a little girl, I forgot what her name was. So that's cool. We're gonna see where that goes in the MCU. I really don't know. I just hope they get their shit back together. But we also get another post-credit scene saying that the legendary Star-Lord will return. So when is that gonna be? Secret Wars? Kang Dynasty? I don't know. But guys, honestly, I'm so happy with this film. I had a great time with this film. I really want to go see this one again. I really enjoyed the ending, but I really want to see these characters more now, more than ever. And maybe it's just because I rewatched the last 2 films and now watch this one. I'm like, fuck, I need more of them. I just hope Marvel gets their shit together. But we will see. But guys, thanks for watching. Have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? What are your guys' thoughts of it? And let me know your guys' thoughts on your favorite Guardians of the Galaxy film. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.